Hi guys, welcome to the kickoff of Mamemeister's High Score Kerfuffle Season 5. Last season we got the most people playing so far, and I'm hoping this one can be the best yet. Last week I described how we were returning to random selection, and thanks to everyone who put game suggestions in. I've had 18 people submit up to 5 games each to go into the mix for the random selection. There are actually surprisingly few overlaps between people's selections. One game was selected 3 times, and everything else was selected only once or twice. I also asked what people's favourite games were last season, and I got a decent number of responses. We had 3 games suggested more than others. Both Robotron and Rolling Thunder had 3 people pick them, including my vote for Rolling Thunder, which I really enjoyed. But our most chosen game, for the best of the season, goes to 1942. I enjoyed this too, and Capcom's first entry in that series proved to be a popular one. We also had a few votes for worst game, 2 of which had multiple votes. One was Arabian, which I actually quite enjoyed. The other was Defender, which was my pick for least favourite. It's no doubt a great game, just too difficult for me to enjoy it. Last week, we had a break from the main competition, and I set Outrun for a little more casual playing over the week. Outrun is a classic, an iconic game from Sega, and was one of their series of superscalar games, delivering a great 3D effect despite using sprites. I'm glad to have spent a bit more time with Outrun. I was playing with a wheel too, which was nice, and the analog controls definitely help. Unfortunately, I didn't get to spend as much time with it as I would have liked. This game is one I'd definitely like to complete one day, but that will have to wait for another time. Let's take a look at the scores before we find out what the first game of the season is. We had 11 people put scores in last week, which is obviously fewer than usual, but it was just a little fun between seasons. We've also got a new player, Gamers Garden Retro, who tells me he plans on taking part next season, which is great. You can check out some of his stuff on Instagram. Most people were around the 5 million mark on Outrun. Big Jaffa and Ian were a little ahead, and then our top 3 all completed the game. Our new player, Gamers Garden Retro, is in 3rd with 16 million points. Charlie Farr had a few runs on a live stream. He completed it on his first run, after who knows how long not playing it. He ended up with 33 million. Our winner this week, though, wasn't in much doubt. Within not long of me putting the video out, we saw a 30 million point score, and this week's first time winner, with a final score of 38 million, is Mr. Cosine. Well done to Mike, and maybe we can see a few more good performances from him next season. With only a few people playing, and not everyone taking it seriously, I'm not going to do a score distribution or difficulty curve. Those will return next week. Now, let's see what the first game of the season is. I've got all 88 games loaded into the selector, with Andrew's games loaded in twice, doubling the chance of those coming up. So, let's set the selector going and see what we get. There we go. Okay, so we've got Puzz Loop from Retrotron 2084. I have to say, I don't know anything about this game. I mean, Puzz sounds like it might be a puzzle game. I'll go look it up, make a video, and be back shortly. So, this week's game is Puzz Loop, released by Mitchell Corporation in 1998. This is possibly the most recent game that we've had, but it's still sprite-based, despite being released when polygon graphics have become the norm. As I suspected, this is a puzzle game, which certainly suits me, and a bit of a departure from the shmups and action games that we had last season. You control a turret in the centre of the screen and shoot coloured balls to try to match at least 3 balls as they rotate around the track approaching your turret. You have to keep clearing the balls to keep them at bay and keep the game going. Simple concept, but as the speed ramps up, as does the challenge. In my short play, I did see a few bonus items, bombs, etc. I guess we'll see how much depth there is to it. Mitchell Corporation aren't the best known developer, but it looks like this is their most well known game. It did see a sequel that appeared on the Capcom CPS2, so it must have been reasonably popular, as well as numerous home ports. A quick play, and I can certainly see myself enjoying this. We'll be playing the USA ROM, default settings, and the continuous panic mode. Before we wrap up, I thought I'd clarify the rules for anyone new taking part. You can also find the rules in the description. The best way to submit scores is on the Discord, but I'll take messages on Instagram too, or posts that mention me. Deadline for submissions will be 7 AM UK time on the Tuesday after the game announcement. This will always be a 1 credit challenge, so no continues or save states. Autofire and pausing is allowed. Screenshot evidence of scores is preferred and essential for the top 3. Finally, each game will have a certain ROM and settings that we'll be using. Most of the time, it will be default settings and the most common ROM. I'll either announce this or put it in the description. I hope you all enjoy playing some Puzz Loop. I'll be back with the scores next week. See you then.